Only 2 years ago, 198 million people were infected by a disease called malaria. Many people believe malaria isn't a big deal as it was 10 years ago. However, malaria is still the cause for millions of deaths per year. $5 billion is spent a year trying to fight and win the nonstop battle to end malaria. Throughout this documentary, we will inform you about the significance of malaria through prevention, treatment, impact, and so much more. Malaria was first discovered on November 6th, in 1880. It was found by Charles Louis Alphonse Cavarin, a French army surgeon. It was found in Algeria. This disease was introduced through infected mosquitoes. Some of the largest outbreaks were in Jamaica, which had 370 cases. In Kenya, 300 people died, and there were 150,000 cases. Malaria is transferred human to human by infected mosquitoes. It is unable to be directly spread. This disease is not contagious. There are two main types of pathogens that cause malaria. The first one is Plasmodium falciparum, and the second one is Plasmodium vivax. There are multiple symptoms of malaria. They can include high fevers, shaking, chills, flu-like symptoms, and anemia. It takes 4 to 10 weeks for malaria to develop. However, on the other hand, some people will not feel symptoms for up to 1 year. Malaria is prevented by using long-lasting insecticides, which is a treating medicine that creates a protective covering over the skin against disease-carrying mosquitoes. It's like everyday mosquito spray times 10. When you add up all of the direct costs of malaria, including illness fees, the treatment, premature deaths, it totals at least $12 billion per year. Malaria was defeated in the U.S. in the early 1950s. 3.4 billion people live in areas at risk for malaria. In 2012, with a transmission outbreak, there was 200 million clinical episodes and 627,000 deaths. A prevention group called Nets for Life helps prevent the malaria disease from spreading by handing out nets to keep away the mosquitoes. Now that you know about malaria, let's take a closer look at somebody who survived it. Unlike most travelers, Alex Beard was careful to take precautions against getting bitten by a malaria-carrying mosquito. She went to Africa armed with insect repellent, a mosquito net, and anti-malarial tablets. However, after several months of traveling, her precautions ran out. She'd been studying in Ghana for about 4.5 months with her best friend, and they decided to travel back to England by land. They stopped in Burkina Faso. She'd been feeling a bit ill for a while, but just put it down on an upset stomach and feeling exhausted. She ignored it. They were in a small rural village, miles from anywhere, when she started to feel very ill. She had a stabbing pain in her side and found it really hard to breathe. She took painkillers and didn't tell anyone about it, but eventually she was so weak she couldn't even pick up a glass. Alex's friend realized something was wrong. She took Alex to the village's tiny medical center. The doctor sent her off for a blood test, which they did at the vet's. Back at the medical center, the doctor told Alex she had Plasmodium falciparum malaria, the most dangerous kind. The doctor gave Alex a bag of pills. She had to take 15 pills every day for 3 days. He also gave her pills to take in case she relapsed. As there was no hospital, all Alex could do was go back to her hostel, take the pills, and hope for the best. She spent 3 days drifting in and out of consciousness with a high fever, unable to walk or move. When she felt well enough to travel, she went to the nearest city. She rested for 4 days, then carried on traveling for the next 3 months. She suffered 2 relapses and took her pills, which stopped the disease again. However, when she got home, she continued to suffer. She was in and out of the hospital, having severe night sweats and speech problems. She had a really bad sickness and severe stomach problems. She had to go back for regular blood tests, which didn't show any sign of the parasites. But she was still ill. It took her 18 months to get over it, and now she has irritable bowel syndrome as a result of malaria.